I'm Aiden. I make random stuff on the internet. And if you know me, you know I love Red vs. Blue. It's my favorite show of all time. But you would also know that I hated Season 16. Then again, you would probably know those things if you watched my worst to best. Shameless plug. It doesn't matter though. Point is, Season 17 was a terrific jump in quality. And definitely somewhere in my top 9 in my worst to best. I haven't decided where yet. Today, I wanted to talk about what I thought was good about it, what was bad about it, what was just okay about it. And then give it a score out of 10. Also, there will be some spoilers, so here's your warning. Let's begin. Jenkins. He's a lot better than he was in Season 16, where literally nothing would have changed if he wasn't there. And he did have some decent moments, but overall, I stand by what I said back in the worst to best video. He's the worst Rooster Teeth villain so far. At least he actually, did things this time around. But they did look to be setting Wash up to be the villain, which I think would have been amazing. But they didn't really capitalize on that. But we'll come back to that later. The comedic timing. Now don't get me wrong, I thought the comedy in the season was phenomenal. That was the season's main focus for the most part. But it had the same problem as Season 16, meaning that sometimes it was very ill-timed. Thankfully, it was less times rather than more, but that doesn't mean it's still not a problem. The impact of the season. I enjoyed this season's finale. It was nothing jaw-dropping or tear-jerking, but it was nice. It wrapped everything up in this arc well enough. The problem with it is just, I didn't feel a sense of finality in it like Season 10 and Season 13. It left me feeling that there's some parts missing. Like, part of the arc is done, but there's more to be told. Am I saying this right? I don't know. It's hard to say what I'm feeling, as I'm not even close to a professional at this. But I guess the best way I can put it is, there wasn't really an impact, or it didn't feel conclusive enough. It left me realizing RVB really doesn't have much left in the tank. It's run its course. I do kind of hope it keeps going so it doesn't end on such an okay note, but I don't really feel it should at the same time. It doesn't have a reason to anymore. Take Season 13. That season left me feeling totally satisfied and that the series probably should have at this point ended there. But it continued, leaving us, and I'm guessing others, with a not nearly as satisfying ending. Hopefully I explained that well enough. Sorry if I didn't. I actually only made this section to talk about the plot. I didn't think it was that bad, because it was executed just, fine, which is more than I expected, honestly. But I just hate how much it doesn't fit Red vs. Blue. It throws the believability of the series completely out the window. Not as badly as Season 16 did, because Season 16 just mutilated it, but that does not mean this season gets off scot-free. Skip to this timestamp to avoid spoilers. The Reds and Blues are going through the Everwind to stop paradoxes from happening, so a time god adds an escape from his prison so it entirely restarts time so it's not trapped or something. I don't know. But like I said, it was executed fine. Overall, I wish it wasn't like this. But it was continuing on from Season 16. So it had to. Although they could have killed off Jenkins and made Wash do what he was doing. It would have added such an excellent dynamic to what they were doing to stop Crodovos. They would have to get through them, and they could have gotten more parallels to the meta, and I just really wish they capitalized on what they set up. But I did enjoy what they ended up doing with them. So let's get on to the characters. They are much more of a step up from Season 16. In Season 16, they all felt like their Blood Gold Chronicles versions of themselves. Completely undeveloped. More specifically, Tucker. They made my favorite character in the series into my least favorite of Season 16. But he's, better in this season. He feels somewhat reset, but it's not as noticeable, and he actually has some pretty good moments. Like when he had to fix the paradox from Season 11. I loved that he basically had to be Locust to ensure they failed. It genuinely hurt me a bit. He's nowhere near 7 Season 13 Tucker good, but I like the improvements he did have. This season actually made me really appreciate Carolina, and how far she's grown as a character from Season 9 in a way I really didn't expect. Doc was good to see. I knew he wasn't dead. There was no way they would kill him off, but I was happy to see what they did do with him this season, making him embrace O'Malley and become a total badass in the finale. I'll admit, it did feel somewhat rushed, but it was still a neat moment. But here are the big two. Wash, and Donut. We'll start off with Donut. He's got the most focus out of anyone this season, so he's really the main character, which I thought was awesome. It's nice to see another Red Team member getting development. I liked him stepping up as a leader and for himself, but in some ways he did feel kind of like a rehash from Tucker from the Chorus trilogy, but I still really liked what he was in this season. I felt he was a worthy main character. Finally, in the characters department, Wash. While I stand by the fact he should have been the villain this season, this was a nice substitute, and I enjoyed everything he was given. He was badass, and his dynamic with Donut was great. Them both giving each other advice was cool. He's the reason Donut was able to stand up for himself, and Donut's the reason he repaired his relationship with Carolina. And he had so many great moments. My favorite one probably being him sacrificing himself to repair the timeline, knowing it'll hurt him and everyone else and take months, maybe years to heal. Still wanting everyone there by his side so we could see them one last time. It hit me. It got me to sniffle. But not bawl. But I'll take for this season. Wash was probably my favorite character this season overall. In parts, both his and Donut's development did feel rushed, but overall, I really liked both of them. The music.
Roses are red, violets are blue. That day we cruised down Blood Gulch Avenue. Red fighting red, blue fighting blue.
Need I say anything? The animation. This easily has the best animation in the series. Everything looks so fluid and blends into the characters who aren't animated and still in Halo so well. The fight scenes look spectacular. They're not my favorites in the series, but they all look awesome, especially future vs. past Carolina. The comedy. The comedy is definitely the main focus of the season, and I don't mind that at all. It almost always landed well, and this was probably my favorite joke in the seasons.
We gotta be careful not to make too many paradoxes. Aside from convincing the guys to believe us, every event in our lives has to happen just as it did before.
Oh, Donut, no! I admire your commitment to time travel.
Thanks.
It's golden. I don't really have anything else to say about the comedy. It's hard to say anything else other than it's really funny. And that's all I have to say on the matter of the season. As I said at the start, it's an amazing jump in quality to Season 16, and I would give it a 7.1 out of 10. Even if some parts aren't super well done or mediocre, the good heavily outweighs the bad, and I would say it's worth a watch. I've been Aiden. Have a good one.